Hello, great people. Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, seemed to have taken a position on who to support in 2027. And that person is no other than Atiku Abubakar, the man he worked against in 2023 for the emergence of Bola Tinubu as president. In a moment, I'll play you two videos because politics in Nigeria is very interesting. The first video was when El-Rufai vowed that he will never return to the PDP. The second video is when El-Rufai was advocating for Atiku Abubakar when both of them paid a condolence visit to the family of late Pa Edwin Clark. And El-Rufai said that Atiku Abubakar has not been given enough credit for the economic transformation that took place under the Obasanjo administration, where Atiku Abubakar acted as vice president. When we come back from watching those videos, we'll be looking at it. What are the economic reforms that Atiku Abubakar initiated? What are the realistic after effects of those economic reform? What is in this for Nasir El-Rufai? Why would Bola Tinubu be taking this in the next few weeks? And also, what is in this for Atiku Abubakar? What is the reality of him actualizing his dreams, and what is the impact of having an El-Rufai in his team? We'll be dissecting these issues and a whole lot more on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omosholadeji. First, let us watch one of the video of El-Rufai where he said he can never return to the PDP. Then we'll come back for some great discussion. Let's watch.
You were recently quoted to have said you can only go back to the PDP if Satan converted to Islam.
Yeah, I'm just, I drew that metaphor to show the impossibility of Nasir El-Rufai ever going to the PDP. If I have to leave the APC, I'll retire from politics and go back to doing other things that I was doing, because politics was something that I just got into some years ago.
There you have it. You just watched the video of Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State. You can see him vowing that you can never return to the PDP. But then, is there a Nasir El-Rufai in Nyesom Wike? Is there a Nyesom Wike in Nasir El-Rufai? Because Nyesom Wike said APC is malaria. But then, APC is cancer. But then he is a minister in the APC government today. And Nasir El-Rufai still claims to be in the APC, just as Nyesom Wike still claims to be in the PDP. Let us watch another video of Nasir El-Rufai advocating for Atiku Abubakar, where he's selling Atiku Abubakar to the public when they visited the family of Pa Edwin Clark, where he said Atiku Abubakar has not been getting enough credit for the economic transformations that occurred during his tenure as vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let's watch the video.
Nobody gives Vice President Atiku Abubakar the credit for leading the economic policy making under the Obasanjo administration. Many of the things that we did were maybe the economic changes under his leadership, but maybe because we don't write a lot and people don't read history, we tend to forget. We only remember negative things. And I think it's part of human nature to remember only negative things and forget positive things.
There you have it. El-Rufai said Atiku Abubakar deserves significant credit. Let us look at something. Before you can credit someone, before you can praise someone, before you can acknowledge someone, that means that the action that person has taken, what that person has done, has yielded positive results. So, what are the end product of those reforms? What outcome did those reforms bring to the Nigerian people? If you look at it, the reforms, as good as it's supposed to be, eventually led Nigeria into more poverty and hardship. And I will tell you the reason why. But before I go into telling you that reason, if you look at it, let us separate this from APC. We know that the government of Buhari and Bola Tinubu has taken Nigeria from worst to worst. But then the economic reform that took place during the Obasanjo administration did not better the life of Nigerians either, because the PDP government that handed over to Yaradua, the PDP government that also handed over to Jonathan. So if you look at it, the government of Yaradua and Jonathan didn't achieve much as they ought to achieve. There was still hardship during the time, so much so that people wanted Jonathan out of office, not knowing that they are going from fry pan to fire, because Buhari is the real fire. And now there seems to be a fire pro max in the person of Bola Tinubu. But when you say that Atiku deserved significant credit for what? Most of the assets that were sold at that point in time were sold below the cost price. Most of the assets were sold below the actual price, and there were allegations of corruption all over the place that some of those assets were sold to the cronies, the allies, the friends of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So if that is the case, should we now be giving credit to a man that instead of seeking public interest decide to sell government asset allegedly for people that are in his political circle? So what credit is El-Rufai saying that we should give Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? That is the way political marketing used to occur. I can tell you that as a political scientist. Now, like play, then they make this thing happen. Now, from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is a corrupt man, from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar can't be trusted, is now moving to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar decide to be praised. This is the same Atiku Abubakar that El-Rufai worked against when Atiku contested against Buhari. El-Rufai was playing loyal to Muhammadu Buhari. The same Atiku Abubakar was the one that made El-Rufai who he is today, because most of them worked under Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. It was Atiku that discovered their talent and gave them the opportunity and convinced the president at that time, Olusegun Obasanjo, to give them an opportunity. So Alhaji Atiku Abubakar made a lot of people that are now superstars today, but some of them worked against him during the time of Buhari and also when he contested against Tinubu. So if you support Tinubu the last time against Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, we want to ask ourselves, what has changed? But then the problem is that Nigerians don't ask the right question. Some Nigerians are so disoriented that they are just like the fella Nicola Pukuti has started zombie. Anywhere you push them, they just follow. Because Nigerians should be asking the question, what has changed in Atiku Abubakar? The Atiku that contested against Buhari, the Atiku that contested against Tinubu, what has now changed that the same Atiku Abubakar that you said Nigerians should not vote for is the one that you are now marketing all over the place? So the privatization that the economic reform that El-Rufai is talking about were marred by corruption, as some of the assets were sold below the actual real and value price. So if you believe in Atiku Abubakar's capacity, why support Buhari? In 2016, for emphasis, El-Rufai said Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was haunted by demons of corruption. Now, if you say somebody is haunted by demons of corruption, that means that you believe that that person is corrupt or that person has corruption tendencies. So 2016 to 2025, is it that now, that's 9 years, is it that something has changed in Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? Is it his stature that has changed? Have you taken Alhaji Atiku Abubakar through a deliverance process? What has really changed? We cannot afford to just be moving from pillar to post. You need to tell us what has changed. Because if you tell us that, oh, this person is not deserving, it is Tinubu that is deserving. Now, if you are telling us Atiku Abubakar, is deserving, you need to also come and tell us what has changed in Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Why should Nigeria now trust Atiku? Why should Nigeria now vote for him? And you yourself, you now need to tell us what has changed you. What is the conviction? Is it because of Tinubu has refused to patronize you? Because El-Rufai was one of the people that installed this government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So what has changed? If El-Rufai had been given a juicy position, maybe he's the Minister of Works in Nigeria now, would he be saying that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is not given enough credit? So, and that's why I've always advised you, and I'll keep advising you, that do not hate your neighbor because of these politicians, and do not take the word of any politician serious, because if you kill, if you maim, if you destroy because of any politician, tomorrow, when that politician change like weather, when that politician decide to turn away from the ideology that they've sold to you all along, where would that leave you? What would be your fate at that point in time? And that's why it's not always good to hurt your neighbor or to hate people in your community or because of politics. Now, let us look at what El-Rufai stands to gain by praising Atiku Abubakar or by rolling with Atiku Abubakar. Could it be that El-Rufai is positioning himself to be the vice president in 2027? Because if the power should remain in the South argument remains, could it be that if they pick a Southerner, El-Rufai is now strategizing because he knows Atiku Abubakar is one of the strongest stakeholders in the PDP. Is he strategizing and positioning himself to be a vice presidential candidate in 2027? Or is he strategizing because he wants an Atiku Abubakar presidency, knowing fully well that if that presidency emerge, definitely we have something tangible. You have something tangible to hold on to. That is, if Atiku Abubakar does not, betray him in quotes like Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But like I usually say, may the best happen to Nigeria, may the best happen to you and I, and may the best man that have the dream and the love of the Nigerian people emerge as the president of Nigeria in 2027. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politik with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course I have great interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.